My name's Sarah. Hi, nice to meet everyone. I founded EffectUX, and we are basically a data modeling company. So we use a research-based process to figure out what attributes need to be present in an environment to reach a desired goal, either for an individual or an organization.
And Sarah, your company benchmarks culture. So to you, what are the 3 most important indicators of positive culture today?
So yeah, we've been researching culture for a while, high-performing cultures. So that's cultures where employees have a high level of engagement, and it's also a productive culture for the business and the operations. We're also lucky we've just benchmarked positive energy management. And so the 3 areas that come across both are purpose, leadership, and development. And with purpose, what that's about is aligning oneself and one's values to the work that you do, to the people you do it with, and who you do it for, and having that sense of belonging. With leadership, what we found is it's more about how do you inspire your workforce, not just motivate them, not just tell them what to do, but how do you actually inspire them? And there's a few traits around that. I can list them all, but just a couple are empathy, compassion, respect, a will to win, and most importantly, empowering your workforce to get the job done, not giving them all the barriers, but guidance and trust. And development is both personal and professional, but it's about aligning your roadmap to the strategy of a company. And to do that, you have to understand where the company is going, how it's going to get there, short-term and long-term plans, and then find your road in there. How are you going to grow with the company?
You work with so many different clients. You see a lot every day. What are the most exciting trends that you've seen within your client group?
So we see all of those vehicles coming to light, a lot more texting, a lot more back and forth, and snackable content, love the term. The major things that we're seeing that's most exciting is also contextual awareness. How do you deliver the right content to the right person? So it's personalization on a massive level to employees. What's important to me and working at my company could be the social good we do. What's important to Joe could be the end customer result. And being able to do that used to take a lot of human effort. You couldn't operationalize that if you tried in a massive company. With applications and AI and other great things, using that to drive content strategy is a really exciting place to be.
Very cool. So what forms of communication are you guys using right now that you think will be less impactful over time?
I think that definitely email will be declining in intranets. I think more as well is about the vehicles will find their purpose. Some will naturally get phased out. We've got 5 active generations in 2020. Some are going to be around for a minute while everyone figures out how to work together. And then some will naturally get phased out, and some might find their purpose. And that happens with any technology and any innovation.
So, Sarah, you do a lot with AI right now. And as AI blossoms over the next 5 years, what trends do you hope will continue to blossom?
So I think it's a very exciting time. I think the next 5 years are going to be full of learning. And we have a lot of stuff out there that's becoming available. We're still learning the impact of that. What's the impact on a human level if you interact with a robot other than a person? There's still a reason why when you're really frustrated, you just want a human, because the human understands you. There's a real shared value, a real shared empathy. So the next 5 years, we're going to do an awful lot of learning, and I'm really excited about it. But I'm also excited because we are engaging in new research on the brain for something that is inside of us. We just don't know that much about it. We know some great facts, but it's October 2017, and researchers just found a new reason for the hippocampus. Just now, in 2017. So we are going to find out an awful lot about our brain. Purpose, fulfillment, where we store meaning. Now, if you take what we learn from that and think about AI, now we're talking about some really cool things we could do, especially when it comes to culture.
Tell me more about that.
Which part?
About how AI is going to impact culture.
Well, it can impact it right now. I'm going way off into the future with my cognitive computing theories, but it can impact it right now. One is, like I said, being able to make sense of data to make the right actions and decisions, so disseminating information to employees, driving meaning with employees. Again, you couldn't do that. It's all on the manager, right? To know the person, you spend all days in one-on-ones, like, just help me figure someone out. Decrease onboarding time. You know, you have that 3 months where you figure out, oh, you don't communicate that way? Oh, crap, I've been communicating completely different, and now we're not on the same page. You can use data for all of that, tying in your recruitment process, things like that. But really, I think the most important thing is that AI gives you the power to see very quickly what's bubbling up in the organization. Normally something happens and culture's being effective and this negative emotion starts breeding, and then you find out later as a leader or a manager, and it's too late. People already feel terrible about it, there's negative impact. With AI, you can bubble up what's happening, act, have the insight, and you can find out the unknown unknowns, the things you didn't even know were going to impact culture. And that's really where I can go.
That's very cool. So how do you see AI impacting the non-desk workforce?
Well, I mean, I'm going to be talking about AI for a while. I was like, we can break it up if you want, but so there's two major things: efficiency gains and engagement. And actually, if you think about them together, they're very related. If you can get efficiency gains by using AI, and you gave any employee 10% of their week back, what can they do? What can they do with that extra 10%? You can cross-train them. You can engage them. They can spend more time doing all the things they wanted to, but they had no time to do because they were overwhelmed. What can you do with that extra time? And that's the big thing. How are you going to use it? How are you going to shift and reposition people to deal with the new world? And that's a really, really big gain.
That's huge. Are there any additional gains for the organization not related to the non-desk workers?
Well, I know you said we're going to get into it, but so I was going to customer experience it up right now, but we can pause.
Actually, no, go for it.
Okay, so for an organization, engaging your workforce is the #1 way to deliver a customer experience. The non-desk workforce are huge to your customer experience. They're often the first line. They're the ones that interact with your customers. One of the biggest attributes to feeling good in a customer service interaction is the feeling that the person went above and beyond. Guess what? You don't do that when you're overwhelmed, and you certainly don't do it if you're not engaged in your organization or the job you're doing. If you're just going through the motions, you don't go above and beyond. So if you are engaging them, they can deliver the experiences that they want to deliver. They can also do their best job. If I have to clean 400 rooms and things are changing and I'm running around, you're not going to be able to give it the attention you want. And research shows that it doesn't matter if you're making a cup of coffee or running a multi-billion-dollar portfolio. You want to look back at your day and feel good about what you've done and the outcomes. Look back at that room you made up or that cup of coffee and feel good about what you do. And that's where it can play.
What tools are you recommending to your clients to use? Because you have your hands on so much. What do you see out there that's a must-have?
I can do it now, I'm quite loud. So to your point, we're recommending solutions that can tie into your environment, but for consistency. So if you have an information worker that's on SharePoint and a non-desk worker that's on their mobile on an app, the information is still consistent no matter the stream in which they're consuming it from. So making an arena in which everyone can interact with the information and you can bring them into the fold so they can engage with the company and not just be left over to the side. In terms of analytics, we're recommending tools that can be very smart against what they measure you against. Not just collecting willy-nilly information just for the hell of it so we can all sit and look at pretty dashboards. What are you measuring against? And how is it aligning to your values? If you choose the 5 to 8 values that you stand up to as a brand for your customers and your employees, how are you measuring it? How is it manifesting? So there's 2 types of data tools, right? That type that you can track the impact of your actions against, and convergence tools. Getting huge data sets from all the different sources around your company and looking for the nodes of value at the intersections that you couldn't possibly see them before.
Cool. So in the audience, we have a number of internal communications, HR, and culture professionals. What advice would you give to them as they're pulling together their future strategies for their work?
So first off, don't just go investing in the latest buzz trend. We've all seen it, the slap a screen moment where everyone just puts screens on every appliance known to man. Don't do that. Take a minute to figure out what you're standing up to, like I just said. Then you can figure out how it manifests. Second of all, don't think of man and machine as separate. Think about the capabilities together. With the capabilities of both human and machine, what experience can you now deliver to your customer and employee? All too often, organizations have on their roadmap our data strategy, our automation plans. Completely separate is how it's going to interact and interface with the human to the end result. So don't think of them as separate. And make sure the first question that you ask every single person, the employee interfacing with the customers, all the way to your C-suite, if we had this capability, what can we now deliver? Because if you are focused so narrowly that you can't ask yourself that, you will never innovate. Just my opinion.